Hi guys, this is Dheeraj. You're watching TECHTRO, the Indian Football Hub. Subscribe this channel for the latest updates of Indian football.
India in blue are kicking from right to left on your TV screens, and defending their goal on the left are Bayern Munich of Germany. Early possession for the Germans. Rafinha on to Robben, back with Rafinha, just pushing it through, looking for Schweinsteiger, pressing this one to the left. Could well be the first constructive attack. It's Philippe Lahm at the end of it, looking to get past Nirmal Chetri. Chetri just gets a foot across to it. His namesake Sunil Chetri, of course, not playing in this match as a result of an injury sustained during the SAF Championship final just about a month ago. Baichung 24 today, and well, I wonder how lucky he must be to be playing against Bayern Munich on his 24th birthday. For all of you born on or before 1987, just try and remember what you were doing on your 24th birthday. I, for one, can't recall what I was doing. This time, Bayern Munich on the attack once again, just at the edge of the box. Could be the first shooting opportunity. Goes down in a heap. Bit of clumsy play by both Bayern Munich as well as some of the Indian defenders at the moment. Safety first approach from the Indians. This is Robben, the man with magic in his left foot. On to the captain, Philippe Lahm. Through the left, back with Lahm, looking for a quick 1-2, but it's been snatched by the Indians. Baichung Bhutia gets his first touch, but it's not a constructive one as yet. This is Timoshchuk, the man from Ukraine, who will have no doubt a huge role to play in his country's fortunes at the European Championships this summer. All the way back in defense to Badstuber. Schweinsteiger. Lovely byplay. Could be the first opportunity. It's still being kept in play. In fact, the Indians not doing a very good job of clearing their lines. A chance here for Basham to get this ball away. Eventually, it is Nirmal Chetri. Finds a teammate. Nirmal Chetri once again. A very feeble clearance, though. Thomas Mueller, the man who really impressed at the 2010 World Cup and has played in India before. Was part of the second team which came down to India in 2009 and played just a couple of exhibition matches up in West Bengal. Schweinsteiger on to Cruz. Schweinsteiger looking to send this one in. It's Robben. Early possession pretty much being dominated by Bayern Munich. This is a chance for India to build on something. But Koramangi Singh just not retaining control for long enough, and he wasn't even under pressure. Philippe Lahm slipping this one through. There's a chance. It takes a deflection and just narrowly misses out. The Indian defense in 6s and 7s, and that's what led to this opportunity coming the way of the Bavarians. The last touch just coming off Thomas Mueller and could have been quite dangerous. Took a deflection and actually wrong-footed Karanjit Singh, who was already down on the ground. Fortunately for him, just went past the upright. This has been crossed in once again. Header comes in from Govind Singh. And a desperate defensive clearance by Clifford Miranda leads to the first corner of the match late in the 5th minute. Some early pressure, in fact, all the pressure coming in from Bayern Munich, the likes of Gomez, Schweinsteiger, all of them pressing forward. Got a precise corner, but it was picked up first by the Indians. Baichung getting a touch on corner, but it was picked up first by the Indians. Baichung getting a touch on. No foul given there. The man at the end of that tackle was number 22, Saeed Rahim Nabi. Indian football's utility man, somebody who's played across every position, I reckon, apart from goalkeeper. The first touch this time for Manuel Neuer, the man with the distinction of being the second most expensive goalkeeping transfer in the history of the game, second only to Gianluigi Buffon. The Indians, of course, sporting that special jersey with Baichung's jersey number on their right sleeve, number 15, a number that he's made his own over the last 17 years that he's been playing football for the Indian national team. Bayern Munich with possession. This is Philippe Lahm. He's seen much of the ball in these first few minutes. A very precise pass for Schweinsteiger. Eventually, though, possession given away. A chance for India to try and build on something, but Sushil Singh will not come across to this one. No problems at all for Rafinha. Baichung. Schweinsteiger. Long ball aimed for Robben, but first across to it was Said Rahim Nabi. Goes out for a throw-in for the Germans. That's a clever bit of work and could be the first goal. Indeed it is. The last touch coming in from Mario Gomez. And well, finally the persistence of Bayern Munich paying off, but the Indian defense will ask some questions of themselves that wasn't the most dangerous of balls, and it was just a little bit of laxity in defense which let them down there. Thomas Mueller cutting it back in, and just a gentle touch from Mario Gomez. That's all it took. And that's what it takes for India to go down by 1 goal in the 14th minute in this particular match. So making their possession count for something as early as the first quarter of an hour. It will be an uphill task for the Indians from here on in. They haven't been able to function too well as a team thus far. Rafinha, Boateng, Baichung, Lam, back with Holger Baichung, the 22-year-old free kick specialist, considered one of the best left-sided defenders in the German game by many experts. Just unable to control that one. Numbers, and no doubt a lot of that has to do with the fact that this is the farewell match for Baichung Bhutia. But it must be said, Delhi of late has been quite a happy hunting ground for the Indian team. They've always got some good support. Memorable victories at the Nehru Cups in 2007, 2009, the AFC Challenge Cup final victory in 2008. Of course, all of those matches, including the 2-all against UAE in the home leg of the pre-World Cup qualifying in 2011. All of them coming at the Ambedkar Stadium, but the Nehru Stadium also proving to be a happy hunting ground with the SAF Championship recently. Now possession for the Indians. It's Gauramangi Singh, the 25-year-old from Manipur. Through on to Baichung. Mashum quickly realized that he was just running into a position where there were too many red shirts around him, and eventually giving the ball away. That'll be disappointing, because for once they had possession and looked like they were in a position to build on something. One man who will be disappointed at missing out today. A man expected to perhaps take over from Baichung in the years to come. Many congratulations, of course, to Sunil Chhetri. He is, of course, the AIFF Player of the Year for 2011. Had a very, very successful year. Started by scoring 2 goals in India's AFC Asian Cup campaign, thus becoming the first man since Inder Singh back in 1964 to do so, and finished it off by being the top goal scorer and the most valuable player of this SAF Championship. Now Arjen Robben through here for Thomas Mueller. He's got Gomez inside the box, but first to it was Gauramangi Singh's chest, in a manner of speaking. Back with Bayern possession, just at the edge of the box. Schweinsteiger, Lam, long range attempt coming in. Bit of a mini clearance picked up here in midfield. The Indians just looking to get that ball away. Baichung once again at the center of things. But this has been the problem. They've not been able to string together good enough sequence of passes in this match thus far. Now the edge of the box, once again a delightful ball. It's a chance for Thomas Mueller, just toying with the Indian defense. Rafinha back with Mueller, going in for a shot, but brilliant bit of defending from Rakesh Masi. getting his foot in when he needed to. Mueller turns this one in, and Gautam Singh with a mini clearance, getting some support from his teammates. This is Sushil Singh lobbing this one up, hoping that one of his teammates can get across to it. The nearest, of course, was Baichung, but Baichung just looks at him as if to say that, mate, I'm 35 these days. You're expecting a little bit too much out of me. This is Thomas Mueller. He's much younger. He's got some good legs on him. This time, a long-range attempt coming in from Timus Chuk. Eventually flying well over the bar, but showing his dangerous ability. The man who's been recently voted as the greatest Ukrainian player of all time. Quite a compliment considering that he comes from the same country as a certain Andrei Shevchenko. So into the 20th minute. Karanjit Singh has pulled off one good save but has been beaten once, and in a rather feeble way, a soft goal conceded by the Indians to Mario Gomez. That enables Bayern Munich to enjoy a 1-0 lead at the moment in this match. This is slipped through the Indian defense, once again caught napping. Another defense splitting pass, but unfortunately for Bayern this time around, Gomez wasn't quick enough to it. First to it was Karanjit Singh, the youngster from Punjab. This is a trade with Salgaonkar Sports Club, the defending champions of the I-League, of course. Washum looking to win this ball, fighting for it, scrapping for it, but the physical difference between the two teams is quite obvious in most of the shots that you can see on your screen. I'd reckon there's at least about 4 or 5 inches of difference between players on either side, and particularly the defenders and the attackers in the Bayern Munich side. Lahm is perhaps a little bit of an exception, but most of them well over 6 foot. Make no mistake, 2012 is a very, very important year for Indian football. In March, they play the next edition of the AFC Challenge Cup, which will enable, should they win, to qualify for the AFC Asian Cup in 2015. This time, the edition to be held in Australia. And the AFC Challenge Cup, of course, will be held in Nepal. And India have been placed in a very, very difficult group alongside Tajikistan, Philippines, and North Korea. So they'll have to be at their finest if they want to proceed further. They, of course, hosted the last edition in 2008 and went on to win that as well. Possession for the Indians, looking to build on something here. A couple of good passes. Rokas Lamare at the center of things. Baichung with a touch, turning this one back. First to it is Gautam. The Bavarians not unduly bothered about that. They have possession once again. Jerome Boateng. Rafinha. Intended for Baichung, and indeed had Boateng not got across to it, would have been an interesting situation, because there weren't too many defenders back there. Would have well led to a one-on-one situation between Baichung and the defense, but critical intervention coming in. Now this time Robben slicing this one up. Good bit of work from Washum. Angmi Washum, of course, now plays with East Bengal, but made his fame as one of the youngsters who came through the ranks at Churchill Brothers. Baichung Bhutia, as always, giving it everything he's got, and in the process getting a few knocks along the way. Questioning this man's commitment, whatever the situation, whether for club or for country. Can the Indians get something out of this. The free kick comes in, but it wasn't a particularly purposeful one. In fact, possession has gone straight away to the Germans. Here comes Thomas Mueller. Schweinsteiger. Rafinha, he's got Robben to the right, but chooses to go back with Schweinsteiger. Badstuber with a long ball aimed at Robben. Delightfully well controlled, but inside Ryan comes away with 1-0 to Bayern Munich, and could be their second if Gomez gets some space for a shot. Chooses to go with Robben, who turns it back in, and it's a simple finish and a good one as well. This time it's Thomas Mueller. And inside the first half an hour, Bayern Munich showing their class here with a truly powerful performance up front. Arjen Robben has had a role to play in both goals, as indeed has Thomas Mueller. The first time he was the provider, this time the tall young striker with a very, very well-timed jump gets to the ball before his marker and before Karanjit Singh. And just as simple as that, it's 2-0 to Bayern. Not much that the Indian defense could have done about it, and once again underlining a point I was making before about the physical difference between the two teams. The fact that Mueller, all he needed to do really was just get his feet off the air, and once he did that, he was always going to be a favourite to get to that ball, in spite of the likes of Gauram Singh and Govind Singh fighting for it. Now Robben, once again, he's been such an influential figure down the right for Bayern Munich. To think that they haven't taken to the pitch with Frank Ribéry could have been terror from both sides. Badstuber. Timoschuk. Robben with a delightful feint there, but the ball that he put in through for Rafinha just had a little bit too much weight than what he needed. Little Brazilian just jogging back to his mark. Well, Thomas Mueller impressed one and all when he came on his previous India visit, and he's got off to a pretty decent start here. Had a pretty big role to play in both goals thus far for Bayern Munich. And a player of superb pedigree as well. The best young player and the Golden Boot winner at the 2010 World Cup. So definitely somebody who's done it all at the highest stage possible in this game. Schweinsteiger. Through on to Philippe Lahm. The Bayern captain sprays it on to the left. A few red shirts in there, a good cross in, but well read by Karanjit. Just been rising in stature as the Indian goalkeeper of late. He had to read that perfectly because it was whipped in nice and low by Thomas Mueller, with Mario Gomez intended to be the recipient of it. Arjen Robben, Boateng. Badstuber. Timoschuk. A little bit too much on that ball for Rafinha to chase down. Nabi with the throw. Looking for Clifford, but no problems at all for Bayern Munich in regaining possession. Philippe Lahm. Schweinsteiger. Cruz. Thomas Muller's strike in the 29th minute, incidentally, was the 17th goal that Bayern Munich have scored in 3 games, inside 3 games within the last week. They've been playing a few friendlies of late. There's Frank Ribery, who had a couple of goals in the match against Al Sailia, a team, second division team from Qatar that they played in their first friendly on Thursday night. Ribery scoring a couple of goals. Ivica Olic scoring 5 goals in a 13-0 pounding that they handed out to the team. And then a 2-1 victory over Al Ahly of Egypt. Now this time a shot coming in. Gomez with his left foot this time. He has a presence about himself, and that's what makes him so dangerous. Anytime he's near about the goal, you know that the defense can be in a spot of bother. This is what makes Germany, in my mind, quite strong contenders for the Euro 2012 crown this summer. They've perhaps got some of the best attack in the likes of Mario Gomez as well as Thomas Mueller. Baichung flicks this one on for Sushil. Looking for some support, has Washum around him, chooses to go there with Rokas Lamare, who's lobbed this one up. The flag stayed down, and had it not been for Manuel Neuer, that could well have been a goal for Baichung Bhutia, who applauds that ball coming in. Beautiful bit of work from the Indians, and a run time to perfection. More than anything else, it looked like the Bayern Munich defense just got by a little bit of surprise there. Not so much this man. This time a long ball, and Robben almost showing his infallibility with the ball. It was a nearly impossible angle, and almost managed to get that ball back in play. It's gone a little bit quiet here at the Nehru Stadium, but they will find their voice back, I'm sure, as soon as India comes up with something constructive of their own. Any free kick or even a shot on goal will do. The 2 goals they've conceded wouldn't have helped too much, and of course it's also a very, very cold evening, as you can probably make out from some of the attire. This is, of course, the winter break in the Bundesliga, and that's what's enabled Bayern Munich to come on this tour. First to Qatar and then to India. And they've got some interesting matches coming up. They resume their Bundesliga on the 20th of January when they play Borussia Mönchengladbach. This time another shot, and off the crossbar. Bayern are making it look like a walk in the park at the moment. More worryingly at times, it looks like the Indian defense just seems to have given up completely. Once again, they're going through so simply, but the offside flag goes up against Thomas Mueller. Saved by the flag. Just seeming to indicate that he's not quite sure about that. It was close, that's for sure. Definitely when the ball is played through, he was onside. So just a little bit of a call which befuddled the Germans, and this was the earlier attempt from Mueller, which just came off the crossbar. 9 attempts as against just 1 from the Indians, and the Indian attempt also was a wayward shot, a hopeful shot from Baichung Bhutia. That's why they haven't had even 1 on target as of now. This is a match, of course, where the coaches are allowed to use their full complement of players, so it will be interesting to see for both teams how many changes they make. Now this could be a chance. It's Mueller, and it's 3-0. Just as it was the case with the first goal and the second, the ribbons as a result of some good incisive passing. But what's disappointing from Savio Madeira's men is the fact that they just seem to give up. A couple of players, they're just going down to ground and giving up the ghost, and no problems at all for Mueller. More like scoring in practice, but he is a fine player, there's no doubt about that. Just to put things in perspective, this is a match between a team which is ranked 162nd in the FIFA rankings, and a club which is pretty much in the top echelons of world football. and supplies most of the players to the team, which is ranked number 3 in the world. So expect no miracles, but it has been a very, very fine performance from Bayern Munich, and in particular from Thomas Mueller this evening. 2 goals for him. Xavier Madera has made it clear, of course, that what he wants from this particular match is for his players to learn as much as they can, and it has been a masterclass thus far that they've been handed out. And it continues. Thomas Mueller cutting this one back again for Timoschuk. Schweinsteiger. Back for Mueller. He's got Gomez inside the box, who swoops in and just misses out on connection. Had he gone across to that, then this could well have been 4-0, because Karanjit Singh looked like he was beaten. Thomas Mueller with a precise pass, and oh, that was close. Once again, the Indian defenders, Govind Singh particularly on that occasion, guilty of ball watching. He was the man who was supposed to have picked up Gomez, but just watched as the ball went from behind him. It's a cardinal sin in defending if you're watching the ball flying in from behind you. So the Indians will have some stern words spoken across to them. Xavier Madera will have a few things to say. Once again, lax defending. Arjen Robben on the ball. Timoschuk, Schweinsteiger looking for Robben again. Robben might just line up on his favored left foot. The angle just a bit too acute though. Rafinha. This is lobbed up. An interesting battle between Nabi and Robben, but Nabi wins this one for the moment and results in a goal kick for the Indians. 5 minutes left. Madera still shaking his head, but he'll of course have a few changes to make, I'm sure, at half-time, and that should see some changes as far as the Indian perspective is concerned. Good thing is Baichung Bhutia, his fitness has lasted these first 40 minutes, which has been good for him. Still regrets the fact that in the 2011 AFC Asian Cup, which he played such a crucial role in helping India qualify for at the AFC Challenge Cup in 2008, injury forced him to just participate in the last quarter of an hour in the last match against South Korea. Otherwise, he, in his own words, would have really wanted to have quit on a high in that particular match. Now this time Rafinha looking to cut this one back in. Good defending, stout defending from the Indians. Clifford Miranda coming away with the ball, but a handball there, inadvertent though it may be. Was quickly picked up by Santosh Kumar. Here it comes, just coming off the arm. Now the set pieces have been a problem for the Indians thus far in this match. A couple of them have caused some concerns. The ones poised over the ball are Tony Cruz and Arjen Robben. It's Cruz who finally takes it. There were tall players, the likes of Boateng as well as Gomez inside the box, but the Indians live to fight another day. Edge of the box, good attempt, good save though from Karanjit Singh. Young Tony Cruz with a thundering shot along the carpet, and that's probably what made it a little tougher for Karanjit, because in such situations you're not quite sure about how much the ball is going to spin or bounce, but he stayed true and used both hands significantly. Just about 3 minutes of regulation time plus whatever will be added on. Wouldn't imagine it should be too much in this first half. Another long-range attempt and a great goal this time. It's Bastian Schweinsteiger with the 4th for Bayern Munich, as the Germans put up a champion display, just as they're known to do. The vice-captain of this team, long-range attempt, but perfectly curled. and taking advantage yet again of the fact that Karanjit Singh, as sometimes is the case with him, a little off his mark, and once you get it past him, then it's always going to be bullseye. But a superb strike and quite a celebration to match from Bastian Schweinsteiger. 43 minutes into this match. We expected it to be one-way traffic, but it's just come a little bit too easy of late. The last couple of goals have been quite soft. And that's where the Indian defenders need to just take a look at themselves, hard look at themselves. This is a good learning experience, though, coming up against some of the world's very best. Sushil. Washum. Washum does well. Looking for Baichung, but first to it was Rafinha. For most part, the Indian players have been chasing shadows, and that's the case yet again, even when they do get possession. Schweinsteiger.
Hi guys, this is Dheeraj Singh Morangthem. You're watching TECHTRO, the Indian Football Hub. Subscribe this channel for the latest updates of Indian football.
India in blue are kicking from right to left on your TV screens, and defending their goal on the left are Bayern Munich of Germany. Early possession for the Germans. Rafinha. On to Robin. Back with Rafinha, just pushing it through, looking for Schweinsteiger. Pressing this one to the left. Could well be the first constructive attack. It's Philippe Lahm at the end of it. Looking to get past Nirmal Chetri. Chetri just gets a foot across to it. His namesake Sunil Chetri, of course, not playing in this match as a result of an injury sustained during the SAF Championship final just about a month ago. Washum, 24 today, and well, I wonder how lucky he must be to be playing against Bayern Munich on his 24th birthday. For all of you born on or before 1987, just try and remember what you were doing on your 24th birthday. I, for one, can't recall what I was doing. This time, Bayern Munich on the attack once again, just at the edge of the box. Could be the first shooting opportunity. Goes down in a heap. A little bit of clumsy play by both Bayern Munich as well as some of the Indian defenders at the moment. Safety first approach from the Indians. This is Robin, the man with magic in his left foot. On to the captain, Philippe Lahm. Through the left, back with Lahm, looking for a quick 1-2, but it's been snatched by the Indians. Baichung Bhutia gets his first touch, but it's not a constructive.
Hi guys, this is Dheeraj Singh Morangthem. You're watching. Hi guys, this is Dheeraj Singh Morangthem. You're watching TECHTRO, the Indian Football Hub. Subscribe this channel for the latest updates of Indian football.
India in blue are kicking from right to left on your TV screens, and defending their goal on the left are Bayern Munich of Germany. Early possession for the Germans. Rafinha. On to Robin. Back with Rafinha, just pushing it through, looking for Schweinsteiger. Pressing this one to the left. Could well be the first constructive attack. It's Philippe Lahm at the end of it. Looking to get past Nirmal Chetri. Chetri just gets a foot across to it. His namesake Sunil Chetri, of course, not playing in this match as a result of an injury sustained during the SAF Championship final just about a month ago. Washum, 24 today, and well, I wonder how lucky he must be to be playing against Bayern Munich on his 24th birthday. For all of you born on or before 1987, just try and remember what you were doing on your 24th birthday. I, for one, can't recall what I was doing. This
Hi guys, this is Dheeraj Singh Morangthem. You're watching TECHTRO, the Indian Football Hub. Subscribe this channel for the latest updates of Indian football.
India in blue are kicking from right to left on your TV screens, and defending their goal on the left are Bayern Munich of Germany. Early possession for the Germans. Rafinha on to Robben, back with Rafinha, just pushing it through, looking for Schweinsteiger. Pressing this one to the left, could well be the first constructive attack. It's Philippe Lahm at the end of it, looking to get past Nirmal Chhetri. Chhetri just gets a foot across to it. His namesake Sunil Chhetri, of course, not playing in this match as a result of an injury sustained during the SAT Championship final just about a month ago. Baichung Bhutia, 24 today, and well, I wonder how lucky he must be to be playing against Bayern Munich on his 24th birthday. For all of you born on or before 1987, just try and remember what you were doing on your 24th birthday. I, for one, can't recall what I was doing. But this time, Bayern Munich on the attack once again, just at the edge of the box. Could be the first shooting opportunity. Goes down in a heap. A little bit of clumsy play by both Bayern Munich as well as some of the Indian defenders at the moment. Safety first approach from the Indians. This is Robben, the man with magic in his left foot. On to the captain, Philippe Lahm. Through the left, back with Lahm, looking for a quick 1-2, but it's been snatched by the Indians. Baichung Bhutia gets his first touch, but it's not a constructive one as yet. This is Timoshchuk, the man from Ukraine, who will have no doubt a huge role to play in his country's fortunes at the European Championships this summer. All the way back in defense to Badstuber. Schweinsteiger. Lovely byplay, could be the first opportunity. It's still being kept in play. In fact, the Indians not doing a very good job of clearing their lines. A chance here for Bashum to get this ball away. Eventually it is Nirmal Chhetri. Finds a teammate. Nirmal Chhetri once again, a very feeble clearance though. Thomas Mueller, the man who really impressed at the 2010 World Cup and has played in India before. Was part of the second team which came down to India in 2009 and played just a couple of exhibition matches up in West Bengal. Schweinsteiger on to Cruz. Schweinsteiger looking to send this one in. It's Robben. Early possession pretty much being dominated by Bayern Munich. This is a chance for India to build on something. But Koramangi Singh just not retaining control for long enough, and he wasn't even under pressure. Philippe Lahm slipping this one through. There's a chance. It takes a deflection and just narrowly misses out. The Indian defense in 6s and 7s, and that's what led to this opportunity coming the way of Had a field day going at that ball, but eventually the shot came in from Gomez. But Shubhashish Roy Chaudhary with some good shot stopping abilities, coming away with averting that danger. And now the Indians getting clear of this ball, looking to get it away as far as they can. 15 goal attempts as against just one from the Indians, and that too was a rather flailing one from Baichung, if you recall, in the first half. Robin. This is Alaba. Baichung on the ball, just looking for a little bit of support from his teammates, getting that this time around, but he just doesn't do enough. And well, his hand there was the problem, and it wasn't so much getting to the ball but across up to his opponent. Probably inadvertent, more of a slipping. For a minute there, that didn't look like football at all. And there is the Baichung of yore, just arguing with the referee for that as well. He's one man who's provided lots and lots of moments to remember, lots of moments to savor if you're an Indian football fan. Just quickly updating you on what's happened in terms of changes to the lineup. Shubhashish now in goal. And a couple of changes in midfield as well. Numbers 7 and 8, Baldeep, Climax as well as Ralte. And up front, JJ. Now this one has been cut back quite nicely in. Could be a chance. Ribery is just teasing the Indian defenders. A good save from Shubhashish Roy Chaudhary. Still not cleared. That's the second quite assured save that the youngster from Kolkata has pulled off. Ribery, the final shot was way wide of him, and Shubhashish showing that he's one of the best shot stoppers in Indian football. Really had to reach out for it, and wasn't easy to read because there were a lot of players in front of him. He would have caught it quite late, but stayed with the ball and stayed low to his left and got his hands across to it and got enough of a contact to it. But Ribery is proving to be quite a pain for the Indian defenders to deal with. Level in the World Cup, and the Indians are finding out his quality just here. Well, a chance if JJ can get across. He's pulled it away from Neuer, but cannot pull it away from Luis Gustavo. And the Indians do win a free kick for this attempt as well. But just for a split second there was a scare. Manuel Neuer had to come all the way out, didn't get a very good first touch on it, and JJ pulled the ball away, but perhaps just took a split second too much in terms of getting it away from the grasp of Luis Gustavo. Chance for the Indians though. Ralte has sent this one in, but perhaps a little bit too much power on that. The idea was right. He was looking for the far corner, and Baichung was making a run for it, but just not close enough to the goal to pose enough of a threat for Manuel Neuer. But it's been a lot more positive from the Indians. 12 minutes into the second half. Alaba giving the ball away to Ralte. JJ. The youngsters definitely adding a little bit of spark up front. The likes of Ralte as well as JJ, both are playing quite positively and just infusing a little bit of energy up front, which was missing in the first half. This is Bayern Munich though coming through in the shape of Arjen Robben, but Said Rahim Nabi, who's done a commendable job in defense. He's one man who always gives 100%, whatever his positioning in the team. He's virtually done it all. Played as a striker, played as a midfielder, played as a defender, playing as a left back today. And he's done a pretty commendable job today as well. Now this is Philippe Lahm. teasing, tormenting the defenders, but well held by the Indian defense. Max Lawrence, with all his years of experience, trying to create enough of a shield to that ball, not committing himself early. Gustavo Schweinsteiger back with Gustavo, who's just a little wary of the fact that JJ is hot on his trails. Schweinsteiger. Quick exchange of passes, now releasing the ball through to Philippe Lahm. Alaba. Back with the 28-year-old captain, who passes it on down to the right. Rafinha on to Robben, back with Rafinha, back with Robben. Just looking to slowly regain composure, regain control of proceedings, as they did in the first half, and did quite effectively. Frank Ribery, one man who can definitely make that happen for them. Not the best of surfaces, I would suspect, that he's ever played on. Mangi Singh there was playing with fire. It's never a good idea to try and tackle your way out of trouble. But he's been one of India's more reliable defenders in recent years. Had a good outing at the AFC Asian Cup. One of the few players who could hold his head high. Scored a goal as well against Bahrain. Olic cutting this one back. He was looking for Robben. It does land up with Ribery. A long-range shot, takes a deflection, will be a corner. In fact, given as a goal kick, so no problems for the Indians at the moment. Quarter of an hour gone. The Indians have fared a little bit better than they did in the first half. And a four-member change now coming on. From left, it's Takashi Usami, then Diego Contento. Niels Peterson, the striker, and Pranjic. So pretty much wholesale changes to the Bayern Munich 11 on the pitch. Scorer of the first goal, Mario Gomez, coming off. Daniel Pranjic from Croatia, former player in the Eredivisie with Heerenveen. Takashi Usami, of course, a man who's on loan from Gamba Osaka. Robben has had a good outing. He contributed to a couple of the goals with some very, very precise passing, and showed the city of Delhi, and indeed all Indian football fans, a little bit of his class this evening here in Delhi. Both teams moving on to some pretty important proceedings from here on in. As mentioned before, the Indians, of course, playing the AFC Challenge Cup in Nepal in about a couple of months' time. From that perspective, this will be an important match. They need to get some good match practice going, but shots like that won't help too much. JJ with more of a hopeful shot rather than anything else. You would have to be a player of some pretty super quality to score from this distance, and he didn't get a very good bounce, to be very fair to him. Seemed to wobble a little bit as he lined up for that shot. Bayern Munich, besides resuming their Bundesliga responsibilities, also have the German Cup quarterfinals to look forward to in early February against Stuttgart. That should be quite a lip-smacking encounter. And of course, also in February, late February, they begin with their knockout matches in the Champions League, UEFA Champions League, where they take on Basel. One of the surprise entrants into the knockout stages. So So that could be a potentially tricky encounter, but many people are tipping them to have a good season this time around. In fact, been quoted as saying that they are not looking too far forward, but they think that they can go for the treble this time. Swift exchange of passes, finally falling with Schweinsteiger, who looks to release Usami on the right. Sabio will be a little more pleased with the second half performance thus far. Close to 20 minutes gone, no goal conceded, and in fact a lot more positive in this half. Jupp Heynckes, a legendary striker in his own time for the erstwhile West Germany, was a part of the team that won the 1972 European Championships as well as the 1974 World Cup. In fact, if you go online, just look for a Jupp Heynckes bicycle kick, which he scored, if I'm correct, against Morocco in a friendly in 1967. It's quite a spectacular strike. Look it up. Also had a stint with Real Madrid, where he led them to European glory back in 1997-98. Now possession for the Indians. Baldeep Singh, the man from Salgaonkar. Long ball aimed at Washum, but just running out of steam towards the end. Nevertheless, applauds the vision of his teammate. Now this one falling inside the box, and a few appeals for handball there, and even Baichung getting into a very good position. If Neuer had slipped up, then surely that would have been the first goal of the night for the Indians, and fittingly perhaps that could have fallen to Baichung Bhutia. Now JJ cutting through, looking to get past some of these young Bayern Munich defenders. Contento. The man who's named quite appropriately Diego Armando Contento, so no prizes for guessing who he's named after and whom his parents looked up to as a footballer. Here comes Contento. He's got Schweinsteiger to his right. Ribery. JJ, who's had a pretty impressive showing in this half since coming on as a replacement for Sushil Kumar. Contento. Through for Schweinsteiger, looking to send this one in. Alaba. Olic. Number 23 is Pranjic. Contento back with Pranjic. Ribery. Schweinsteiger with a chance for a long-range attempt, but number 23 is Pranjic. Contento back with Pranjic. Ribery. Schweinsteiger with a chance for a long-range attempt, but lots of human traffic right in front of him. So reaching approximately the halfway mark of the second half, it's been a much better performance by the Indians, but Bayern Munich also with a wholesale set of changes. And superb tackle there. A A brave one coming in from Baldeep Singh, and he pulled it off quite brilliantly. Here comes Alaba. This is the change the Indians are making. Resangvi Washum, no cigar on his birthday, but quite a pleasure for him to be out there on the pitch for as many as 68 minutes. He gave it his all and he tried quite hard for most of it. And he will be replaced by Sheikh Jewel Raja. Mightily impressive young midfielder. Applies his trade now at Mohan Bagan. Played in the 2009 SAF Cup. That's where he really came into the spotlight and played quite an instrumental role in the Indian victory for a young side which took to that SAF championship without too much of an expectation. Schweinsteiger. Attempted as a cross there by Kranic. Key question for Sabeeth will be what further changes to effect. Of course, he will want to have a look at CS Sabeeth, the youngster, as well at some stage, and perhaps that could be the cue for letting Baichung perhaps come off the pitch. That is in case he wants to. Certainly looks like he can go on for a few more minutes. Schweinsteiger. This is an impressive run from Usami, putting a lot of pressure on the Indian defenders. Got a good bit of work from Govind Singh as well, just doing enough to keep that ball away from harm's way, and also timing his tackle to perfection in order not to concede a corner. About 20 minutes of regulation time left now in this match. No goals in the second half. All 4 goals for Bayern Munich coming in the first. 2 of them from Thomas Mueller and 1 apiece from Mario Gomez and Bastian Schweinsteiger. Out of all of those names mentioned, only Schweinsteiger remains on the pitch, so he can add to that tally, but otherwise it's pretty much a run-in for some of their less experienced and less utilized hands. Getting some playing time under their feet, which is always important at any level. Bayern Munich, of course, looking at a pretty grueling schedule starting at the end of this month when they resume their Bundesliga duties. Through on to Ribery. Has had a long association now with Bayern Munich since 2007. 28-year-old who's been a talismanic presence not just in this Bayern side but also with the French national team. It all started with his performances at the 2006 FIFA World Cup and surely will be quite critical to their chances at this summer's European Championships as well. Back with Franck Ribery. Lobbing this one up, a useful ball. Usami, but not a useful enough cross back in. Ralte will clear the lines for the Indians. Picked up by Baichung, looking for this ball back. Just for a glimpse there, we saw a little bit of Baichung of olden days, but unfortunately it wasn't a very good pass. Perhaps with a little bit more accuracy, that could have been an easier run for him to make. But this is what identified him from other players. Playing in conjunction, especially with the likes of I M Vijayan in the national team, and in later years with Sunil Chhetri, the tremendous telepathy that they seem to have. Frank Ribéry slipping this one through. Usami yet again just slipping up and making Ribéry slipping this one through. Usami yet again just slipping up and making it easy for Gauramangi Singh to effect the clearance. Baichung sent tumbling down by Breno. Just coming in and tapping him from behind, which was always going to be a foul. Baichung with possession yet again. This is a chance, it's into the box. Jewel Raja was closest to it, and it has been given as a corner. So a chance once again for the Indians to build on some pressure and get something positive. Second corner for the Indians, and this time they'll be hoping for a better delivery. Last time around, Ralte was guilty of handing possession straight back to the Germans. This time around he goes for a variation, goes with Baichung. Still with Indian possession, will go out for a throw-in this time around. Can they make this count though? Coming up to the last quarter of an hour mark. Much more gutsy effort from the Indians in the second half. Not conceded as yet, and this time the cross coming in. Not so sure if he meant it as a shot, but it almost turned out to be a pretty useful one. Neuer had to be quite alert, but the ball had actually gone across the line, and indeed it didn't even touch his gloves in the end. Almost provided a Haji moment for those of you who remember the Romanians' goal from the 1994 World Cup. Baichung Bhutia at the center of things yet again, looking to set something up for his strike partner JJ. Fighting, scrapping for everything, just like he has been doing for the last 17 years. Long ball yet again attempted for JJ. A shot comes in from Ralte as well, but it comes off one of the defenders, and a follow-up. Just not good enough in the end. It was Sheikh Jewel Raja who got the final shot going. Nirmal Chhetri with the initial pass. JJ with a chance. Ralte with the shot coming off JJ in fact. And then the follow-up just not close enough from Sheikh Jewel Raja. But the Indians certainly showing a lot more intent in the last few minutes, especially with the slew of changes that they've made. All the substitutions coming to the party and looking to join in and put in a little bit of effort into establishing a little bit of pride into the scoreline. Baldeep Singh. This is JJ once again. JJ Lalpeklua. What a story it has been for the youngster from Mizoram. Olic. Olic taking it past Gauramangi Singh, but cannot beat the entire Indian defense. This is Bastian Schweinsteiger. Through on to Alaba. And that challenge coming in from Ralte, a rather reckless one, especially considering there's already been a yellow card for Baldeep for a similar one. Indians just need to be a little bit careful about the kind of challenges that they come up with. More than anything else, they must be wary of not injuring some of their opponents here today. Well, speaking of injuries, Bastian Schweinsteiger just seems to have hurt himself a little bit. I don't know if it was a challenge or perhaps the surface. Lots of concern coming in from the Indians. Baichung in there, as Ralte as well as Climax Lawrence. I think it might just have been the landing there more than anything else. Oh, scything through him there. Ralte just going in pretty hard with that challenge, but fortunately it doesn't look like it's anything too serious. So Schweinsteiger all right. The only big name significantly who stayed on the pitch throughout these 78 minutes thus far in this match for Bayern Munich. Barring, of course, their goalkeeper Manuel Neuer. Showing exactly why in the current Bundesliga they have more goals than anybody else. They have scored, they have had more points than anybody else, and they have conceded fewer goals than anybody else in the entire field. And it's been that kind of a performance this evening. Quite flawless, and at times they've been literally toying with the Indian defense. Both Indian goalkeepers, Karanjit Singh and Shubhashish Roy Chaudhary, giving a reasonably good account of themselves. A few good saves, particularly for Shubhashish in the second half, and yet to concede after as many as 34 minutes. Diego Contento through here for Ivica Olic. A good job of persisting with him, the Indian defense, and eventually going out for a goal kick, which will be good job of persisting with him, the Indian defense, and eventually going out for a goal kick, which will be the responsibility of Shubhashish, one would imagine. It's been a good evening of football at the Audi Football Summit here at the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium. We expected it to be a feast of football. It has exactly turned out to be that. Savio Madeira would have been under no illusions about the chances of his Indian team against Bayern Munich. Indeed, I believe his exact words were that there is no comparing India and Bayern Munich. But he'll be quite happy with the spirit shown by his boys, particularly in the second half. After having gone down 4-0, it would have been quite easy for them to have just laid down their arms, but it's been a lot more positive in the second half, fighting away. Olic. Usami looking to find Ribery. Long range attempt, but straight at Shubhashish. No problems at all. The first chance in a long time which has fallen for any of the Bayern Munich players. This time around it was Daniel Kranic. But one thing's for sure, this man has had a good second half. This wasn't the toughest of the saves, but he's effected 2 excellent saves in this match. 10 shots on target as against none against for the Indians. That just underlines the supremacy of the midfields, in my opinion. Bayern Munich certainly keeping possession much better, keeping their passes going. Now this could be an opportunity. Sheikh Jewel Raja goes in with a shot. It's the first attempt on goal, if one can call it that, but it was rather hopeful in the end. I suspect he had a little bit more time than what he feared initially, and that's why perhaps just a little bit of hasty decision to go in for that shot. Now Franck Ribery, edge of the box. He's the kind of player who will want to leave his signature at the end of this match. Oh, and a shot which rattles the net, but from the side from Takashi Usami. Japanese player, definitely looking quite impressive in his little stint here. Just 19 years of age, one of the few teenagers on the pitch. A rasping shot, but wasn't quite on target. This was the previous attempt, which fell for Sheikh Jewel Raja. As mentioned, he was quite far away from the defense, and he just needed a little bit of time to perhaps line up on his right foot and maybe even cut in inside of the defense. Just seemed to panic. The Indians haven't seen too much of the ball, and that's why they seem to just give it away a little bit too early. Yet again, it's Sheikh Jewel Raja. Does well to get past one man, but Luis Gustavo makes sure that there are no alarms. Viewed in isolation, this has been a much improved performance from the Indians in the second half. No goals conceded, and indeed a few half chances. Luis Gustavo. Pranjic. Back with the Croatian international, now through for Frank Ribery. Got some pacey players alongside him, including Niels Peterson. The cross in is a good one, and a header as well, just a little bit off target from Olic. Was a delightful teasing cross sent in by Contento. Really has got a sweet left foot. And it was quite a good connection as well. Wasn't a very easy header to put away for Olic. It was always going away from him, which is why he couldn't quite get the right direction in it. And now this is the time for everybody to just give him a rousing reception. It will be a standing ovation. It's officially the last time that Baichung Bhutia will be coming off the pitch in an India jersey. The journey which began back in 1995, and indeed a journey in Indian football which began somewhere around 3 years before that, and an old relationship with the city of Delhi. First came to fame with the Subroto Cup, where he played for the Tashi Namgyal Academy of Gangtok. What a player, what a man, what a moment. And it's a symbolic passing of the flame, perhaps, because it's young CS Sabeeth who comes on in place of Baichung Bhutia. The future of Indian football coming on in place of what has been a glorious recent past. Yes, that is $1 million question, if one can say. And one would perhaps suggest that there are a few players who are ready to step up to the plate, but there is no replacing Baichung Bhutia, that's for sure. A very popular man among his teammates. He's always had the respect of all his mates. A very competitive person by nature, and that's why this 4-0 scoreline will hurt a little bit, but he'll be happy with the second half performance that his team under his stewardship has put up in this second half. So 5 minutes of regulation time left. It's more of a case of just waiting for the final rites. Contento. Pranjic. Alaba. Schweinsteiger on to Ribery. Can Bayern add a fifth or perhaps even more goals? Well, they certainly came out with a thunderous first half performance, but the second half has been a lot more balanced in terms of both exchanges as well as chances. This comes through for Ribery. Cutting it through, looking for Schweinsteiger, but a crucial intervention coming in from Baldeep Singh. Now this is Sheikh Jewel Raja on to Climax Lawrence. Trying to find Sabeeth up front. Handball there from Sheikh Jewel Raja, similar to what happened in the first half as well. This is another trademark Baichung moment. When he comes off the pitch, his mind is still usually on the pitch. And he keeps at it, he keeps talking on, he keeps passing encouraging words on. Well, just to remind everybody that this is not the end of his domestic football career, because he intends to carry on for a little while yet with United Sikkim, the club that he has helped create and promote. Indeed, he played as a defender last year for the United Sikkim club in the second division, the League 2. And he intends to take them to the top division in the near future. And that will be his immediate assignment. With many options open for him. Many think that he'll make a very good administrator, but I wonder what the man himself would think about all of that. Climax Lawrence. Sheikh Jewel Raja. Sabeeth does well to hold off a tackle. Ralte. The perfect icing on the cake, especially from the Indian perspective, will be to find at least one goal here for this evening. They have worked hard in the second half, but just not constructively enough. And more often than not, Neuer has been just coming in and cleaning up rather than coming up with any substantial saves. Sabeeth. Now, can Jewel Raja come up with a good enough cross from this angle? He will be forced to take it to his right foot, and that is where he lost out crucial time, because initially itself, Contento had read that to perfection. He knew that there was a likelihood that this man to his in front of him, Sheikh Jewel Raja, was going to line it up on his right. India effecting another change. Samir Naik is coming on in place of Nirmal Chhetri. Nirmal Chhetri with a bit of a mixed outing. He had a first half where there were a few errors and a few lapses in concentration, but a second half where he distinguished himself with definitely most of what he did. Jewel Raja once again looking to win this ball, does well, pulls away, a free kick as well for the Indians, and it will be a yellow card, a first of the evening for a Bayern Munich player. It goes to their number 30. Luis Gustavo. Caution for that body check, literally. And even as Sheikh Jewel Raja was just looking to get away with the ball, just leapt at him and got his foot across. A bit of desperation defending. Now, can the Indians make this count? They haven't been very good off set pieces thus far this evening. They have had a few chances, as shown by that graphic. 7 fouls, so 7 free kicks, as well as a couple of corners one can remember. Ralte once again going in with something very, very feeble and very short. Baldeep. Sabeeth. Jewel Raja. Ralte going for a shot, but it's a very, very feeble one. It looked more like he was aiming for the Audi car. Ribery. We're into injury time here in this match. This has been lobbed up, but this was always going to be a case of the flag raised against JJ. Looks up to the skies. The Indian management will be quite pleased with the second half effort. No goals conceded, and indeed a few half chances created of their own. But on the whole, a great performance this evening from Bayern Munich, killing this off as a contest in the first half itself. Gustavo. Usami. On here for Frank Ribery. Can he find a fifth here for Bayern Munich? Chooses to go with one of his teammates in Breno. Back again for Olic. Goes for a shot. Hits the side netting, but not effective enough from the Croatian striker. In a rich vein of form of late, but no goals today. But he's tried hard. He's had a few great chances. He's created some tremendous opportunities for himself, and really as a striker looks quite a complete package. He's strong, he's got good pace on himself, and he can shoot off either foot. Sabeeth. Schweinsteiger. Only outfield player to have stuck it out for the entirety of this game and put up quite a good performance as well for his team. Frank Ribery, that will be the last touch. India beaten but not disgraced in this testimonial match for Baichung Bhutia, one of Indian football's